Reading for Robin, Advent Day 7. Let Earth Receive Her King by Alistair Begg. A light has dawned. The people who walked in darkness had seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them the light has shone. Isaiah 9:2. The Bible never disguises just how dark life can get. The scriptures are clear that when God is left out, when we choose our way over his, darkness results. The days in which the prophet Isaiah lived were dark indeed. Solomon's great temple was the site not of real worship, but of self-serving corruption. Wicked kings failed to point to Israel back to their true king. Injustice reigned. God's people had grown used to ignoring his prophets, and yet life did not work out for them. The darkness of their own hearts and conduct was matched by the looming darkness of invasion from the north, from the mighty Assyrians. All this left them greatly distressed and hungry, but such was their rejection of the Lord that they chose to speak contemptuously against the king and their God. It would have been reasonable for the Lord to have left them to experience the distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish, without hope or future. Isaiah 8:21-22. They didn't want him. He would only have been giving them what they had chosen. But our God is a promise-keeping God. Isaiah 9 begins with a glorious reversal, just when we might anticipate reading that God will turn his face away from these rebellious people. We read, "There will be no more gloom for her who is in anguish." Isaiah 9:1. The Lord would not leave his people, and he would not allow them to remain in mercy. No, for these people in darkness, on them has light shone. God's light would break into the self-inflicted gloom of sin, ultimately and supremely in the form of the promised Messiah. Isaiah was writing about 800 years before Jesus, though, so why was he writing about Christ's advent as if it had already happened? Answer: because it was so vivid, so clear, and so certain in his mind that under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, he could use the prophetic perfect tense in order to make clear exactly what was going to take place. That's why Peter, when he wrote about the prophets from the vantage point of the first century on the other side of the coming of Christ, said that the prophets were, in a sense, standing on tiptoe, looking to see the fulfillment of the things that they had written. 1 Peter 1:10 and 11. But how? How could Isaiah's prophecy come about? How can darkness be replaced by light, war be replaced by peace, distress be replaced by joy? You, writes the prophet, have multiplied the nation. You have increased its joy. Who is it that has caused all this to take place? Answer: God alone, for he is the source of the light, and it is in his light alone that we truly see. There is no way for the sorrowful to be comforted, for the broken to be healed, for this light to dawn upon our human heart and mind, except that God does it. Just when it appears as though the winter time of the soul is about to come in all of its crushing sadness, God's light shines. And it is a dazzling light, because he is the God of immeasurable mercy and grace. He enters into the darkness and emptiness of our experiences to bring his light, his joy, and his peace. It's a story which is so wonderfully conveyed to us in the celebration of lights that we enjoy at this time of year. Not long after Isaiah had come and gone, the people of God again found themselves in anguish. Foreign rulers had triumphed over them, and no prophetic word had been heard for many, many years. Perhaps he's really done it this time, the people may have thought. Maybe the Lord has finally had enough. But we know better. We know that into this darkness a child was born. The good news of Christmas is that the God of the Bible, the light of the world, came down and entered the darkness, and it could not overcome him. Are you walking in darkness today, whether that is the darkness of your own sin or the darkness caused by the sin of others? Remember, God is neither afraid of nor defeated by these things. Be encouraged, for in Jesus, God has drawn near. By his Spirit, he can and will bring light to the dark. Look to him and walk in his light. For reflection, thinking about the previous paragraph, does your perspective on this world or on your own circumstances need to change? What difference will the light make to you today?